Excuse me, I'll be in the background trying to pull up an NBA game or some shit. We just got to get something going. There's no Thursday night football or anything like that. I want to start because I know most people, they watch the beginning of the videos and they kind of trail off and go out of the video. So I want to start by reminding everybody that we'll be doing a T-shirt giveaway. I got the sweatshirt version of the T-shirts. T-shirts are being made right now. We'll have a T-shirt giveaway. It's going to have the small logo, the barbecue pit logo right here, big logo on the back. Pretty cool shirts, some red, some white, some blue. I think we're going to be giving away a red one. Just make sure, you got to follow me on Twitter so I could DM you, you know what I'm saying, or whatever the case is, DM me. I'll DM you if you win. So you have to be following me on Twitter, and then you have to subscribe on the YouTube channel in order to be eligible to have your name picked in the giveaway. But we will be giving away a shirt to the community because I love my community. We're going to watch the Lakers and the Bucks while we do this. Let's see. We get started on the predictions in a minute. Predictions, whole nine. I just want to get this jumper in here. Excuse me, by the way. I didn't mean to be rude just then. Bucks up 21-17. Anthony Davis returns in this one right here. Let's see. Let's go out. Keeps freezing. It's probably because this shit. Anyway, whatever. Fuck it. Main card kicks off. It's Kang Ho Kang versus Liao Pinyang. Kang is a hometown of Busan, South Korea, where the fight's going to be located this Saturday. Also, just a key little thing to throw up in there. Key thing to throw in there. The fights will be starting at 2 o'clock in the morning Eastern time, 5 o'clock in the morning. Or 2 o'clock in the morning will be the prelims when the prelims start, and then the main card will start at 5 o'clock in the morning Eastern time for both of those. So very early card. I probably get a little nap in tomorrow, and then we'll be staying up all night. 2 o'clock in the morning is a little hard to wake up. If you go to sleep for the night and then you wake up 2 o'clock in the morning, it's a little bit difficult. So I'll probably be staying up that night, watching at 2 o'clock in the morning, 5 o'clock in the morning after the fights. Probably end around 8:30, somewhere in there. Probably take a nap, 2-3 hour nap, whatever, and get back up for the day. So it's some dedication to it, man. You definitely got to be dedicated to be an MMA fan. I do, but I don't love these morning cards. They're good and they're not good. They're good for one reason only, and that is that nobody's up. So you're watching the fights, and it's just you watching the fights. So that's a little bit of a good reason, but not really too at the same time. We'll probably stream, and we probably won't get any viewers because who the fuck will be up at that time in the morning, And if you're that dedicated that you're awake, you're probably watching the fights, not watching me fucking react to the fights and shit like that. But, we'll probably do it anyway. We haven't done one in a little bit. I just want to get one out there so we could say that we didn't completely give up on the fight companions. Anyway, back to the thing. Kang Ho Kang, hometown of Busan, however you say it, South Korea, 16-8-1 MMA record, 5-2-1 in the UFC. He lost his UFC debut by split decision to Alex Caceres. That was overturned and changed to a no contest because Alex Caceres popped for marijuana. Notable UFC wins include a submission over Teratu Ishihara, and then most recently a split decision win over Brandon Davis back in August. He's got 11 submission wins to his name, which takes us over to Pinyang, who's from China, not from South Korea, so I guess he's a little bit at a disadvantage. It's all Asia, right? So, you guys love all your Asian fighters, not just the South Korean guys, I'm sure. That's another thing, too. I love the Asian crowd. It's always amazing. The fights go on, and for the most part, it's just silent. They're waiting for something to happen. They cheer when stuff happens. They, you know what I mean? But it's like, it's cool to not hear, shit like kick him in the balls or like fucking woo, and shit like that. Like you always hear shit. I couldn't stand. When I went to my first UFC event and I heard everybody go woo, I was like, what the fuck is that? Why the fuck are they doing some damn WWE shit? They're doing some WWE shit for fucking. I hear somebody at my door. I gotta go check this out. Hold on just a second, guys. Yeah. What was that? Okay. Had soap in the closet. It's all good though. It's all good. Ping Yangs from China, like I say, trains at Team Alpha Male with Uriah Faber, Cody Garbrandt, Chad Mendez when he was still around. 13-6, 2-1 in the UFC. Lost his last fight by knockout to Jonathan Martinez back in July. His two notable UFC wins are over Damian Stasiak and Martin Day. 9 out of 13 of his wins are via finish, 5 by submission. So not a bad submission owner himself, but he's also a little bit well-diverse. He's got striking, good submissions. I think the biggest part of the factor of this fight, within every fight, there's factors of, this is what I think would make this guy win. This is what I think would make the other guy win. But in this fight, I think the factor is going to be where they train at. I think, although MMA, UFC, all that's expanding to Asia pretty well at the moment, I still do believe that definitely not as much as Team Alpha Male, but not even by a long shot. I think Team Alpha Male versus just some gym, the main gym in South Korea, because it is a main gym. There's a couple of different people who on this card who train at that gym. So I would assume that this particular gym is the main gym in South Korea, like the biggest MMA gym in South Korea, whatever the case is. But, in my opinion, coaches, training partners, shit like that, I'm just going to have to pick Team Alpha Male. So although I could be completely off, I could be completely wrong about the South Korean gym, I just don't know much about it. And that being said, everybody knows about Team Alpha Male. Everybody knows about the guys that train there. Neither guy has really fought anybody notable. Kang lost. Alex Caceres is probably the most notable guy. Other than that, it's Ishihara and Brandon Davis. Brandon Davis, pretty top guy, but he lost those 2 fights, I believe. Most recently. Oh, no, he won those 2 fights. So, I mean, if we're talking about, level of competition that they've already fought, I would definitely give it to Kang. But, striking, submission game, 11 submissions, probably only has a really good submission game. And I've never seen either one of these guys fight. I must admit, I watched the entire July 13th card, so I should have seen Pinyon fight, but it's not fresh in the memory. It's not coming to me, easy like that. So it's kind of not, I didn't really see it per se, because I obviously didn't put an impression on me to where I remember seeing the fight. But I got Liao Pingyang there to upset on the start of the main card, to upset the South Korean home crowd. Then you got Jun Young Park versus Marc-Andre Barriot. Barriot's a Canadian guy coming over to South Korea. He's 11-3, 8 knockouts. 8 of his 11 wins are by knockout or TKO. He's never been finished in his career, although he is 0-2 in the UFC. He's lost decisions to both Andrew Sanchez and Krzysztof Jotko. Don't bully me, yeah. Jun Young Park is 10-4. He trains at Korean top team. I guess, American top team, but it's in Korea. Korean top team out of South Korea. He's also a South Korean native. 0-1 in the UFC, lost via submission in September to Anthony Hernandez. So big competition there for Park to debut in. 8 out of 10 of his wins are via finish, 5 by TKO, 3 by submission. He has also never been knocked out. Marc-Andre Barriault's got very good hands, a lot of power, and I also do believe he's a pretty good grappler. As far as wrestling-wise, I don't know how really good how he is submission-wise. But Park, man, it's one of those things where you're going to go back to the training facilities, top team versus, I think it's Barrio trains at TriStar, I believe. TriStar is one of the best gyms in the entire world, I believe, in my opinion. Fighters go to TriStar whenever they don't like their training situation, whenever they're on a couple fight losing streak and they need to get it back, that's where they go. Although 0-2 in the UFC does not look good, I still am going to go Marc-Andre Barriault. That's going to be 0-2 for the South Korean fighters just to start the main card. The undercard's got a lot of South Korea fighters on there too, so I don't think their hope is completely gone, but I believe they start 0-2 on the main card there. Then we got Da-Un Jung versus Mike Rodriguez. I feel like I'm going to struggle with one name and then smash the other name because it's fucking so American. Jung is 12-2. He also trains the Korean top team in South Korea. 1-0 in the UFC. His win was back in September. Submission win over Kadis Ibragimov. 9 out of 12 of his wins are via TKO or KO, and he has never been knocked out. And he's only been submitted one time in his career. While Mike Rodriguez is 10-4, 1-2 in the UFC. Since winning his contract on a Contender Series, he has a TKO win over Adam Milstead and 2 decision losses over Devin Clark and John Allen. Pretty big in that division. 8 out of 10 of his wins are also via TKO or knockout, and he has never been knocked out and only been submitted once. So very similar as far as how they've been beaten, how they haven't been beaten, and also pretty similar as far as the percentages of TKO and knockouts that they have on their record right now. A little bit, tiny bit more experience. Oh, no, it's the exact same amount of fights they have. So no experience differential. I'm going to give it to you know what? I'm going to go with, I'm going to spin it. I'm going to go with Da-Un Jung there. Surprising for me. I normally pick, obviously my first 2 picks I normally pick away from the home guys, especially in Korea or, Japan, China. The pressure gets to you there. It's a big, 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 big fighting country as far as Asia we're talking about. I don't know if are we considering Korea and China and all that shit country? Continent. Asia's a continent. It's a big fighting continent, so they have a bunch of combat sports going on there. It's a very huge place for combat sports, and it's a lot of pressure to put on these fighters, man. I think that Jung gets this one done though in the Mike Rodriguez fight. Sorry for Mike Rodriguez because I do like his fighting style, and I hope that going 1-3 in his first 4 is not going to get him cut, but got to pick him how you see him. Next would be Doo-Ho Choi, the Korean Superboy, versus Charles Jourdain. Korean Superboy is 14-3, 3-2 in the UFC, currently on a 2-fight losing streak, losing a decision to Cub Swanson and the TKO loss to Jeremy Stevens. The UFC wins are over Sam Cecilia, Juan Puig, and Thiago Tavares. 11 out of 14 of his wins are via TKO or knockout. And he has 1 loss via knockout. He's never been submitted. A lot of those guys down there, the South Korean guys, see South Korean also, are very similar. They're good at one thing, very, very, very dominant at one type of thing, and the other thing that submission or grappling or striking, and the other thing they're good in, because obviously 1 loss his entire career is pretty good, but you could definitely tell what a fighter's strong suit is, just by looking at their records in the way of they're finishing. He's facing Jourdain 9-2, 6-9. 6 out of 9 of his wins via TKO or knockout. So similar TKO knockout percentage. 100% finish rate. He's never went to a decision. And he's never been finished. So he's never I'm sorry. I say he's never been to a decision. He's been to a decision twice, and those were his 2 losses. 0-1 in the UFC. Lost the unanimous decision to Desmond Green back in May. So he's new to the UFC, newcomer to the UFC, only loses decisions. Superboy over here, 11 out of 14 of his wins are via knockout or TKO or knockout. So Jourdain doesn't really get TKO or knockout. He's definitely not fought the level of guys that the Superboy's fought. I just think, 2 fights back-to-back, dropping 2 fights. Hasn't won a fight since last time he won a fight. The featherweight champion Alexander Volkanovski was not fighting in the UFC. That's how long ago his last win was. So, it's been a long time for him to get in the win column. You definitely want to see him get back in there. I just don't think it happens against Charles Jourdain. I think Jourdain maybe gets knockout win. I'm going to call it a knockout win just because. I think Superboy's going to go out on a shield there. TKO, not knockout, TKO. Which brings us back to the co-main event, which I think would be hands down the best fight on the card over the main event as well. Volkan Ozdemir versus Alexander Rakic, R-A-K-I-C, Rakic, I guess. I don't know. Neither one of these guys are from South Korea. Ozdemir is 5-0 in kickboxing, 16-4 in MMA, 4-3 in the UFC, which means 3 out of 4 of his losses come out of the UFC. His 3 losses include DC for the light heavyweight title, Anthony Smith, and Dominic Reyes, all high-level light heavyweight fighters right now. His wins include Ilir Latifi, Jimmy Manuwa, Misha Serkinov. Latifi, we know, just went up to heavyweight. Manuwa also lost to Radic, so it's not really that much. Serkinov, and then he also beat OSP. Sorry about that. I didn't notice. I didn't mention that. Sorry. 12 out of 16 of his wins via TKO or knockout. His UFC debut was on the undercard of Bermudez versus Korean Zombie, which is, it's a stupid fact. It's stupid facts that I write down sometimes, but right now he'll be the co-main event to Korean Zombie versus Frankie Edgar. His first UFC debut was on the undercard of Korean Zombie versus Dennis Bermudez. Whatever the fuck that means. Radic on the other side is 12-1, 4-0 in the UFC. He's lost MMA debut back in 2011. It's his only loss on his career. He lost that by submission. 9 out of 12 of his wins are via TKO or knockout. He's got wins over Francismar Barroso, Justin Ledette, Devin Clark, and Jimmy Manuwa. I think the biggest thing I want to point out with this fight is the size differential. Although Ozdemir might have a little bit more mass on him, Rakic is a good bit taller. He's got a good bit longer reach, and they're both strikers. That's the thing. And we've seen Rakic kind of get rocked and be able to recover. Ozdemir probably won't let him recover if he rocks him. The question will he be able to get close enough to rock him or stun him or anything like that? And if he does, how does he handle it? Is it going to be that big of a shot where he just can't handle the pressure, or is it going to be his length kept him far enough away to where it wasn't that big of a shot? And in that case, he kind of lasts the round, comes back, tries to piece him up in the next round. My opinion, I got Rakic by second round TKO. I think that's going to go very similar to how the fight previous to this was going to go. Just longer striker. Longer striker is going to, if he can keep you on the outside, he's probably going to outpoint you the whole fight. If not, he's going to land some clean ass shit and probably TKO you. So that's what it comes down to for me as far as that fight. Frankie Edgar will be fighting Chan Sung Jung. Of course, Frankie Edgar was supposed to fight at UFC Riley against Corey Sandhagen. Brian Ortega partially tore his ACL, I think. which doesn't require surgery but requires about 3 to 4 months of rehab. Therefore, he will not be able to fight in this card. Frankie Edgar took the fight, I think, on like 2-3 weeks' notice. 2 weeks, right? 2 weeks' notice. He took the fight. The UFC said they plan, if Frankie Edgar can make it out unscathed, to keep him on the UFC Riley card. We know from the Korean Zombie's past 2 fights, or should know from his past 2 fights, that he's probably not going to get out of this unscathed. You know what I mean? Let's see. Where is it? His last 2 fights are the Korean Zombie. I mean, not the Korean Zombie. The Yair Rodriguez fight. And was it Aldo? I think it might have been Aldo, but Korean Zombie versus Yair. All right, now I got to look it up. It's going to drive me crazy. I don't think I wrote it down. But his last 2 fights, 150% do not show that he will be able to get out of there unscathed. Frankie Edgar, that is. Unless Frankie could just take him down early and just keep him down every round, take him down and keep him down, take him down and keep him down for 3 rounds straight. And if that's the case, maybe he does get out of there unscathed. Oh, it's Renato Moicano. Renato Moicano left getting TKO'd. And then, of course, you know that he was beating the shit out of Yair Rodriguez, and Yair Rodriguez landed that lucky-ass elbow at the end of the fight. And then the fight before that, the last 3 fights, he inflicted a shit ton of damage onto Dennis Bermudez before knocking him out in the first round. So his past 3 fights, he inflicted a shit ton of damage on guys like Dennis Bermudez, Yair Rodriguez, and Renato Moicano were all world-class strikers. You know, none of those guys are great wrestlers. Renato Moicano is a great jiu-jitsu guy, but not one of the 3 guys are great wrestlers. So it is going to be kind of a different fight, I would have to say. It's not going to be exactly the same as those. And I can't just say because he fucked those guys up and he put a lot of damage on those guys, he's going to do the same thing to Frankie Edgar. I'm not going to say that because it would just be wrong. Edgar's 22-7, 0-1 in 2019. He's only fought once after that loss to Max Holloway. He's never been submitted. He's only been TKO or knockout once. His wins include Cub Swanson 2 times, Yair Rodriguez, Jeremy Stevens, Chad Mendez, Uriah Faber, BJ Penn 3 times, and Charles Oliveira. He's got a crazy record. He's been in the game for a hell of a long time. I think he's 38 years old or so, which, taken on the chin, you're either going to give it experience or you're going to say he's an old guy and he's slowing down, one or the other. But, you know, who can predict those things? Who can say, you know, yeah, this guy is too old, or yeah, this guy just has more experience and that's why he's going to win? It's not really one of those situations. You can't really predict it like that. You just kind of have to see how it works out and how he's training, how he feels right now at 38 years old. Zombie, 15-5. We talked about his last 3 fights. He's never been submitted. He's only been TKO or KO'd 3 times in his career. He's 5-2 in the UFC. We talked about his losses: Yair Rodriguez, Jose Aldo. He's got wins over Renato Moicano, Dennis Bermudez, Dustin Poirier, Mark Hominick, and Leonard Garcia. All amazing wins to have under your belt. Like I said there earlier, I don't see any predominantly strong, take you to the ground, grind you out wrestlers on that list. Maybe some good jiu-jitsu guys, maybe some great strikers there, but wrestlers, I don't know. I really don't know there. He's had 4 years off for the military after his Aldo fight. He came back in 2017. He's 2-1 since then. He's on a pretty much of a roll. I mean, he's got 2-1, so it's not like he's undefeated or anything, but he does have a winning record since he's been back. It's going to be hard for me to pick against Korean Zombie, especially in his hometown. You know, what he's done in his last 3 fights. It's so hard to pick against him, so I'm not going to do it. I'm going to pick Korean Zombie. Frankie Edgar does not get finished, though. He's not easy to finish. I think was it one guy that TKO'd him was Brian Ortega. I think second guy is going to be Korean Zombie. I think it's TKO win for Chan Sung Jung, Korean Zombie. Also on the card, you know, the main card. I mean, the prelims are a little bit slim this time. It's not really. Oh, whenever they go out of country, it's always a little bit slim on the prelims. They got Cyril Gagne versus Tanner Boser. Gagne is a training partner of Francis Ngannou, up and coming heavyweight star there. Alejandro Pantoja versus Matt Chanel. Honi Barsoles versus Saad Nurmagomedov, and Miranda Granger versus Amanda Lemons. So, I mean, maybe I won't be at 2 o'clock in the morning watching because of some of those fights I don't really need to watch, especially the other ones that are on the card. This is just filler. I mean, there's only what, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 fights there. There's probably at least 12 on the card, 13 on the card. So I definitely left off a few fights there. But in my opinion, I will be definitely watching. I just love MMA like that. It'd be good if I'm not doing anything Saturday night. There's Bellator on also. So, I mean, I just love fights, man. I love to see the fights. Check. Boom. Korean Zombie. Not too more Connor. I completely forgot I had this back here. Yeah, so I watched that live. I watched him, Morcano get knocked out live, and I really didn't think that was going to happen. I thought Morcano was going to be able to be the better striker, and then strike him a little bit. He was going to be able to take him down, submit him. So I was definitely wrong about the outcome of that fight. I will never second guess the Korean Zombie's striking abilities since I seen that fight. So I got Korean Zombie TKO. Other than that, this weekend I think there's Island Fight 61, SD Dumas. Everybody make sure you go out and support him. Watch on UFC Fight Pass. That'll be a great fight. Of course, we got 2 Bellator cards this weekend. Run those down for you. Bellator 2. What is this for Bellator? Yeah, I'm at the bottom of the list. What the fuck? I guess I needed to be at the top of the list. All right, what is today? 20th is tomorrow, so Friday they got Josh Barnett, Honey Marks, Taiwan Claxton to be on the card. Joey Davis is on the card fighting Chris Crucinos. Cass Bell's on the undercard. Let's see, and who's on Saturday? Saturday they're gonna have. Saturday's also in Hawaii. Both cards in Hawaii. They got McFarland versus Kate Jackson, AJ McKee versus Derek Campos, Jason Jackson versus Kichi Kutamato, Juliana Vasquez on the card. Ravion Stotts getting his Bellator debut. What's up, Fight Night Picks? Great card this weekend. Hell yeah, I agree. What's happening, Craig? Yeah, I meant to tell you too. I haven't said this. I haven't told you this yet, but I meant to tell you. I love that like Miami Vice style shirt you got there. I don't know if you guys made a shirt out of it. It's just a logo right now, but that logo is fucking dope, son. I meant to tell you that. I just seen that earlier today, actually. I don't know why the fuck it took me so long to see. I seen you posted it that long ago, but I just seen that Miami Vice logo. That shit's sick looking. I give a shout out to you. I'll go find it and I'll fucking post it on here so everybody can see it. Is it pink? Yeah, that shit's dope. Fight. All right. I don't even know where I seen it, to be honest. I seen maybe Facebook or something. I don't know where. Here you go. I'll zoom into it. This is actually the exact thing that I seen right here. Oh, my phone sucks on the thing, dude. Fuck. Whatever. You can't see it. That's sick ass colors, yo. It's fucking whatever. It's pink and fucking. It's like light blue, and then the bottom half is pink. That shit's dope as fuck. But yeah, I'm gonna have to cop a shirt. That shirt's sick as fuck. If it's like the pink and the same logo and shit, I'm down. I'll grab me one of those. Yeah, man, that was it. It's gonna be a great card. Bellator is gonna have some great cards on this weekend. The UFC in the morning, Bellator at night. It's a great weekend to be an MMA fan. You got Friday night, Saturday morning, early in the morning, Saturday night. Great weekend to be an MMA fan. Of course, I think we'll be doing a kind of like a fight reaction, fight companion type thing this Saturday or Saturday morning for the UFC events. We'll see what we're doing at the nighttime. Maybe we'll do something for Bellator. Probably not though. We don't really ever do anything for Bellator, but yeah, man, everybody shout out to Fight Night Picks, Craig Allen for stopping by. Everybody go check out his breakdowns, 2-minute breakdowns is sick. He's always got good tips on who he thinks is going to win the fights. He's a really, really smart guy. Great mind in the game. He's a really smart dude when it comes to MMA. So him and his brother, I think it's your brother, your cousin, or somebody. Is it the same last name? I think it's your brother. That does the 2-minute breakdowns with you. I think that's an amazing idea. It's great segments. I love watching them. So shout out to Fight Night Picks. Appreciate you stopping by. I'll be back next Thursday and also this Saturday morning. So maybe my Korean following stop by and check me out, say what's up. If not, guys watch it later, whatever. Fuck it, right? We'll see you guys next week. This weekend too.